It's the war. It's a hybrid war. As a psychiatrist, okay, then I start to realize that, let me rephrase that. Who behind the drugs business?
Yes, you mean the princess, right? This is the princess, the eldest daughters of King Rama X, and this is the mRNA jab. And after roughly about 20 days after the jab.
I mean, you should see her in Japan.
Okay.
And Davos and place.
It's amazing that Japanese, came out in the street. That's really huge.
You mean the national
Yeah.
We were there.
Yeah. We envy you. We would love to see that thing happen in Thailand too.
So I wanted to ask you about the situation, how people here are aware of how many people or how the movement is going on.
I cannot tell how many people, all right? And this is something that we also quite upset, to tell you the truth, in terms of the people that actually really came out and fight with us. But the good news is that, I just sent the message to my team that yesterday, not so long ago, if you go on the SkyTrain or like the MRT, underground, those kind of stuff, like 90% of people wearing masks. And in the past, we remember that we tried to. You want me to put it here? Or?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
I did that many times. I know what it's supposed to do. Okay. So yesterday I went on the SkyTrain, and it's opposite. So it's like 90% no mask, 10% wearing mask. So I see that positive result.
Good.
Because not so long ago, people still afraid, still like wearing a lot of masks, and even we're thinking about during the peak that we gonna go on the BTS and not taking a mask and by assurance them that okay, you're afraid, I'm not.
Yeah.
Something like that. See, there's a lot of change, and also if you look at the rate of the getting the vaccine, it's plummet. It's like a lot of leftover vaccine in the stocks.
Good.
So in other words, huge success in the way of waking people up, but not to the point that they're really thinking that they also need to do something to fight, to prevent themselves from getting the same treatment again and again. And that's a big problem for us now, because we really believe that it's not the regular pandemic, it's the war. It's a hybrid war that we're fighting.
Most people don't even know the term hybrid war, and we need to make sure they know that.
Yeah.
Because they're not, as you know, they're not going to just hit us with this. They're going to hit us with many things.
Yes. And so that's what I'm working on right now. Anyway, so what do you like to talk about?
First of all, I'd like to know the situation in Thailand, like how much people got this job, and the the situation of the injury.
Okay.
Or I'd like to know if there are people, citizen movement to spread this awareness. And you belong to WCH Asia, correct? World Council for Health Asia?
Yeah.
You gave the presentation I watched.
Yes.
So I want to know what...
I actually working with them. Because we also the one that fighting, you're asking about is there any movement? Yes, of course, we are the movement. And before there's other groups that Mom Joe, I don't know if Rung Kun Kiriyakon, he started that. And then, he kind of like fed up with things. So we continue his works. But of course, we, do everything We fight on the battle, like a legal battleground. We try to, go on the medias. We try to wake people up. We try to make like clips, alternative medias, like what you're doing right now. Oh, which one is which? Okay, yes. Oh, it came in the box. It's nice. Okay, so yes, of course, there are people who try to fight in the. I think this is right. Yours? Okay, no. I don't know which one should be the small one. Yeah, I should have the. Anyway, so going back to harmony. Don't know the real number yet, but roughly I can say it's roughly around 20% who never got jab.
Oh, 20%.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
something like that, I guess. But like this is like the hardcore who from the beginning. Okay, but the majority is there's you can say that there's like 20% who really true believer in vaccine, and the one in the middle who start to realize that oh no, they got the jab but they not gonna get it anymore. All right. Still, it doesn't mean that they will not get any jabs because those people still, okay, should I get the, like the vaccine for the flu, for blah, 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 all right? The one who really awake will say, okay, even though those are the good, but yeah, show me the proof that it's safe, you know what I mean? So, those are the smart guy. So that's roughly the numbers.
Was there any mandate?
If you ask the government, there is not.
Okay.
Okay, but if you look carefully, there actually is. In fact, just recently, we just, try to warn one of the big medical school in Thailand that they ask every people who work with them, like all the professional medical, workers, to have their own records of vaccine, like a vaccine book, and they need to show that to the authorities, to their boss, and it have to be like certain vaccine. You have to have it, unless you could not work for them. So this is like a mandate, but the government said no, it's their choice.
Oh, I see.
So it's not a mandate in the term that, but for somehow people, do things, we just asked this question to the dean of the medical school, what authority you have? You have to have certain authority to tell people to get jab. Do you have any authority? You have any anyone give you that authority to they just don't have anything.
So it's in a sense it's still going on.
Yeah.
So among those lists of the vaccination that they have to get, it's the COVID one is included.
Yeah.
Still now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And others too, not just COVID.
Not others. And the doctor, how did you come to realize about this incident, or what should I call?
It's a long story. To make it short, I realize that the medicine that we, thinking it's a good thing to help people is not that thing, because I'm actually interested in curing the disease, the difficult to treat disease, all right? And I aware that there's a way, there's new inventions, there's new treatment that we can help people that actually cure the disease. And the big pharma don't like that. Okay, I don't know if you heard about a guy's name Brzezinski.
Brzezinski.
Yeah, you can look it up in the YouTube. There's a good documentary about him. He's a Dr. Brzezinski, and he actually invent certain treatment for the cancer. And boy, the big pharma go after him badly. All right. And I happen to be aware of his inventions, and I know the story long before COVID. So I start to realize, something that's not really what you've been told, that they want to help people, blah, blah, blah. Because the Brzezinski, he invented treatment that can treat brain cancers, which is one of the worst cancers that you can have. Before him, the treatment outcome, it's zero. No one survived these kind of cancers. For his treatment, 20% of patients survive. Kill. And then, at the beginning, he think that, this is going to be good stuff. No, he got sued by FDA, and blah, blah. You can look it up in the YouTube. I happen to work with this guy, and I know a lot of stuff that related. So I start and I'm a geneticist. Okay, I train as a medical doctor, I train as a psychiatrist, and then I train as a geneticist too. All right, so I know a little thing about genetics. All right, so the Professor Luc Montagnier, right? Luc Montagnier, the Nobel Prize winners who found the HIV virus, and then he got Nobel Prize out of that job. That's work he's done. So he's the first one of the first who came out and said, I look at the genetics of the germs, and it's man-made. And it's like, in his mind, it's no doubt. He lists something like 14 reasons that it could not be, natural. It have to be man-made. And he really have everything back it up. He published the papers. It's very extensive papers, go into details. I could not understand all of them, but I can understand most of them because it's genetic terms, very difficult to understand. But of course, he's a Nobel Prize researcher. So of course, when I read the paper, I start to thinking, what's going on? It's not what you really thinking about, blah, blah, blah. And then I start to look into the PCR test and realize that, the PCR is also, something fake. And then, one after another, the treatment that is actually proving to be okay, they said it's a fake, they said fake news, they try to, tell that ivermectin is a horse dewormer, but I can prescribe ivermectin in my hospital. I never have a horse as my patients. So I know something wrong there. Why they say that? Because it's a real good medicine, and it's actually in the list that it's like a, it's like a necessity. The list that it actually, the hospital have to carry. You know what I mean? It's not just the medicine. It's just the medicine that you have to have. So it's something there. And then it came out the mRNA. And as a geneticist, I know what is mRNA. All right? I know that the mRNA is mRNA. And then I start to look into the mRNA. And it's not the messenger RNA, it's a modified RNA. It's a different thing. And it's not the real RNA because it's not composed of the regular, AUCG, because it put in pseudouridine, something else that is not found in nature. All right? So then you know that this is a modified one, and this is not the messenger RNA. And then you realize that the virus itself, it's a RNA virus. Okay? If you know that the virus is RNA virus, so if that's the virus, the genetic material is made by RNA, not DNA. So the viral genes, it's RNA genes. And when you talk about gene is a set of the genetic material that tell the cell to do whatever they want it to do, including spike protein. So in other words, we should call this the viral genes injection. not mRNA, because it actually the viral genes, because this virus use RNA as the genetic material.
Oh.
Because this particular virus, coronavirus, is RNA virus. It doesn't use DNA like other life form. It uses RNA as a genetic material. It's like HIV. HIV is another group of the RNA virus. The dengue is another group of RNA virus. So then you start to realize that something's fishy. All right, something's not right. And I start to look into the things. Okay, they use the nano lipids, and then you realize that that nanolipids, it's in order to disguise our cell to thinking that it's safe, because lipids, it's one of the 5 main nutrients that our cell need. So it's like a Trojan horse. Okay, so the cell recognize the lipid and thinking, it's just lipids. It's just fat. And they never know that inside that fat, it actually this, viral genes. Also, apart from that, then you look into the studies that they submit in order to get approved. All right, this is not just regular study. This is the study run by the pharmaceutical company itself. It's a clinical trial. You know that. In order to get approved as a medicine, you have to have a clinical trial. You have to submit the clinical trial. Story about the 75 years, blah blah blah, those things, right? But even though you don't have that information that they want to hide from you, you look into just the one that they submit to the FDA. This is something that they show to the public. They show to their experts, so-called experts. All right. You read the papers carefully, you will see there's something wrong there. Because in the papers, whenever you want to criticize paper or study, the first thing that you want to read, it's called research methodology. How you do the research. Okay, because the result of the research, it's good or bad, it depends on how you do the research. Okay. So this research methodology, normally they put it in what they call supplement. So it's not the main paper, it's in the supplement. And if you don't want to dig into it, if you not read it carefully, read just the paper, you cannot find this information, but it's there. All right. Of course, I looked into the supplement. I read what they said in the papers. And one other thing that they said in the papers is how they define COVID. And a lot of people not understand that when they say it prevents COVID, it doesn't mean COVID that we understand. It's their version of COVID. What the COVID that they define. So this is like a study definitions. All right. Believe it or not, all those experts never read that. Or maybe they know that, but they never tell the public. But when you read that, you realize that, this is not what we're thinking about COVID that we're talking about. They play some trick so they can manipulate the result. And they tell 95% protect of COVID, but their version of COVID. See, they know from the beginning that the vaccine could not prevent infections. They know from the beginning. It's not they learn later on. It's from the beginning, because the way they decide the research, it's the way that they try to, not doing the research. They not try to prove it prevent the spread of disease. Because if you really want to do the research to test if the vaccine can stop spreading disease or not, the way to do it is very simple, very easy. Okay, it's not like something like, it's not like the rocket science. It's very simple. you have two groups, right? The first group, you have like the real stuff. The first group, you can have like the vaccine, and the second group, you have like salt waters, all right, saline, okay, and then you inject the real one, the placebo, all right, and what you do in order to figure out if the vaccine can prevent disease or not, very easy. You test those two groups every week, everyone, for maybe 2, 3, 4 months, whatever it is. Every week. Why every week? Because even though you test once a week, if the person got the disease early in the week or later in the week, we can still capture the disease anyway. All right? Because we did that, we do the PCR, blah, 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 we can easily do that. It's cheap, it's simple, and you do the test on everyone. All right? And then, of course, after you do that for a while, the number will show the difference if there is a difference between the injected one, the real vaccine or the placebo one. That's how easy that you can tell that the vaccine can prevent the disease or not. They didn't do that study.
They did not?
They didn't do that study. Which is actually, then you start to ask, it's so easy to run, it's so cheap, and it's not that difficult at all, but they intend to not doing that. Why? Because they knew from the beginning that vaccine could not prevent the spread of the disease. And they tell it, you know the what happened in the EU Parliament, right? When the one of the EU MP, Mr. Roos,
Rob Roos?
Yeah, Rob Roos, asked the question, do you do the test? And what they say? No. No, they didn't run any test, any study to really tell that their products can prevent the spread of disease. Because if they do such a study, this is how to run the study. What they did is something else. I tell you, they did something. They coined the definition of COVID, and tell you something like, to label as having COVID, the person had to have certain symptoms, and that certain symptoms have to make the researcher thinking that, oh, he might got COVID, and if he think that he might got COVID, then he might want to do the test. But see, that's the trick, because they allow the researcher to pick and choose which subject you're gonna run the test. You know what I mean? Instead of testing everyone.
Oh, I see.
It's a total scam.
It's a scam.
Oh.
But when you read how they run the study, then you realize, no one did that. They read the abstract. They read the conclusion of the study. Say, oh, we have 95% bullshit prevent the disease. It's not there. See, after I read those studies, after I learned so many things, of course I realized, it's a big scam. And when they try to do so many things to scare people up, to do many things to prevent people to know that this is a disease that easily treat, and they try to do many things to hide the truth that is actually man-made virus, and they try to, and afterwards I learned that the patent is there before, blah blah blah, other story, right? Of course, then you start to realize, okay, that's for me, that's the proof that they're not really doing good things for people. They actually try to scam people into, become their customers. All right.
So, what they did for fake research is that they didn't do this easy, simple test, but instead they allow themselves to pick the ones
the
that
researchers,
they want to.
something like that.
I see, I see. And how many before this pandemic happened? Was the ivermectin popular in Thailand?
See,
Did people know?
it's not popular in the sense that people not aware of it. All right, because but the doctors know this medicine. Okay, so it's not popular because we not really have the problem of the blindness.
I see.
Yeah.
The
But
original.
but
that was
of course there's a ivermectin in the pharmacies that I in my hospital I can easily prescribe it. You know what I mean? In fact, during the time that people say that it's a horse dewormer, it's not used to treat COVID, blah blah blah, all those kind of crazy things going on. You know what happened? Ivermectin ran out of stock in Chulalongkorn Hospital.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Chulalongkorn, we passed by it.
Yeah, the King Chulalongkorn Hospital. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So people at the hospital
Yeah.
got a lot.
Yeah, you know why? A lot of doctors prescribe it because we cannot just buy it. You know what I mean?
Oh.
It ran out.
Hey.
So it's not just me. I could not completely so many doctors. The sad thing is that a lot of doctors are aware of this, but not really tell. They're
keep-
afraid to tell,
I see.
but they know and they got it for themselves and they prescribe it for someone they knew.
I see. How can you get it in Thailand? For example, in Japan, even Japanese doctor invented this, but we could not get it, so we needed to import from India.
No. Yeah, we did the same thing. We can import from other places too. But again, since this medicine is already available before COVID, we not just put the medicine in the hospital after COVID happened. It's already there long before COVID. But of course, the demand might not be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But after people start aware that this is what happened. Again, afterwards, after they start to do that, then there's like a kind of like instructions, something like only a certain group of doctors can prescribe that. Yeah, something like that. So you cannot do that because you're a psychiatrist, you're a blah blah blah. You're not the expert, all right?
Really?
So then people start to looking for others, place to get the medicine. So they order from abroad, blah blah blah. So same thing happened in Thailand, like in Japan.
Oh, I see.
All right. So that's what's going on. But luckily, we don't only have the ivermectin. We have other kind of herbs. We actually one of the good herbs. About the fatalajon, right? Those are the herbs that actually have the papers that prove. Or the other thing that I think is very interesting is artemisia. Okay, those are very interesting herbs. So we have many other ways to deal with the disease itself. All right. Again, they try to say, it's like a fake news. It's like quacks. But people use that.
Could you give me some examples? Which kind of herbs was good?
Okay. The one that we use, two main one. The first one is artemisia, and the other one is the fatalajon, which is I'm blocked. It could be extract into. Let me search the English name, but I call the Thai name. It have the Chinese name too, because this is one of the herbs that they know that they can use it to treat SARS, the first SARS, not SARS-CoV-2. So that's why it's andrographis.
What was the name of the first one again?
Artemisia.
Artemisia?
Artemisia andrographis.
How do you spell Artemisia?
Artemisia. Okay, this is Artemisia. Artemisia is A-R-T. Okay, I can. All right. No, that is
Oh, thank you. RTBC. Oh. Wow.
And this is also a very interesting story too, because TBC is one of the herbs that's used to treat the parasite.
Parasite.
Oh yeah, actually not parasite, malaria.
Oh, really?
Yep. And the Chinese, the ladies, got Nobel Prize because of that.
I see.
Artemisia become Artemisinin, and they use that. And you know that the story about the medicine that used to treat the malaria, right?
Malaria.
Colchicine? No, yeah. I think another medicine that can be used to treat COVID actually could use to treat malaria.
Do you have a clinic? Do you see many people coming to seek for help for the injury?
Yes. Actually, one of the reasons that they join the event because we offer help during the events. You know, we tell them how to treat themselves, blah blah blah, and actually, Kun Pantep provide the team of the herbalists. Okay.
Oh, herbalist.
Yeah, TCM. You know, we could not rely on the medical doctors. But anyway, we could talk about the treatment. You know, if you want to go into the more technical detail about how to treat that, that's a long story. Because I also involved in those kind of treatment too.
They're herbals.
Not herbals, herbals and others new innovations. Okay, because you have to understand that there are many. This is another thing that is very difficult to explain, because when you think about the vaccine, you think about poison. Okay, but it's not really a poison that you're aware of, because when you talk about one poison, you can easily detox that poisons. But when you talk about many things, not just one chemical, many things that they put in the vials, you cannot use only one herbs or one treatment to get rid of everything.
Like aluminum and things.
Aluminums, graphene, blah blah blah, so many things.
Are these nanobots real stuff? Or?
I think so. Okay, one of the things that we realized that the signal is there. You mean the signal, the signal, right? The Bluetooth signal, the signal that came out from the jab people.
That's real.
It's real. There's
How can you detect it? How do you detect it?
You can have the app that can detect because there's an app that allow you to detect free Wi-Fi, to detect the blue,
I've used that before. You can see all the Wi-Fi signals and stuff. That will detect it?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, we need to download that app. I used to use it for detecting,
In fact, one of my people who I work with, she's really good. You know, she's married. I mean, not married. She's her boyfriend is Italian guy, and they are very smart people. Okay, they somehow got the app and be able to prove. You know, it's easy to do that on the plane because on the plane you're not allowed to turn on the mobile phone, right? And if you want to turn it on, you have to turn it on in the flight mode, which is, in other words, turn off all the signal. In the flight mode, you don't, you know that, right? But they use this tool to detect the signal, and they got the signal from many signal from where? Because you're not supposed to get any signal on the plane. Then this lady also did something. You know, if you go out in a very big, like open space,
like a park, and wait till people walk by you,
you're not supposed to get any signal.
You need to go to the beach when they have bathing suit on and don't have a phone.
And you pick up the signal. In fact, she went to one of the agencies in Thailand, which is dealing with this cyber security. Okay, she intend to talk with the administrators. Of course, they don't allow her and her boyfriend to talk to administrators. But she ended up, be able to get into and talk to people working there, and they end up talking with the real staff who actually the technicians or the person who really knows about what they're talking about, because they are technicians, they're not administrators. And they be able to show them what really there. Eventually that guy like, ooh, it's real. Because he's a technician guy, he know what we're talking about. All right. And then he's like, how could I do anything? I just technicians, you know what I mean?
You can see the signal. Who's got the best microscope in Thailand?
Oh, there are many microscope. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like a super microscope that could see these things and make images.
Oh, you don't need that to make the photos.
How small or big are these?
Yeah, it's
things?
nanobot. The name is nano. It's nano. It means like one night of the mate, right? Something like that. Not one night. It the powers. I mean the might. Yeah. So it's you can use like. But the point is that it's not just look into it. It's just to really detect the signal and other stuff too.
Right.
But yeah, there are so many things, and I know about that, but not the expert in that field. You know what I mean? Only the field that I know about, it's too much for me to work on. And we're not talking about genetic stuff, because you're aware that the contaminations in the wild, right? You know about that?
In the vials.
The DNA contamination?
DNA contamination.
You know that, right? Yeah, that's another thing that's actually really scary. Because in DNA contamination, it's contaminated because of the process, the making the vaccine. Okay? Because and this is another thing that it's actually not a lot of people aware of. The one that they submit to ask permission to inject to people is different from the one that they inject people. Okay? The vaccines, the mRNA, it's under the category that we call biologics.
Biologics.
You know about that? When we talk about medicines, there are many groups of medicines. This particular group of medicine we call biologics. In other words, it's making it's not like a chemical, I think they call biologics. And within the biologics, like stem cells, okay, those are biologics, all right? And every biologics, if you use different production procedures, even though you want to make the same thing, but you use different way to make it, they consider it different things. Okay, this is how we define biologics. So in other words, if they make mRNA certain way, and then they put that into clinical trial and do the test to say that these do such and such thing, and approve because of that product, and then they use another product made from another procedures to give to other people, then that one is not approved. Because for biologic we consider those two different products. And this is actually what happened. Because in order to make the mRNA, when you think about mRNA or genetic material, you're thinking about it as you write the book or the song, okay? ATCG or AUCG, it's an alphabet, and you have a sequence of the those alphabet to make sense, to make the cell understand that this is the order to make certain stuff. In this case, spike protein. All right. So you have to put one alphabet after another's. And this one roughly it's 1,000 words, 1,000 alphabet long. Okay, so in order to do that, you have a very good machine to put this thing in sequence that you want, and then you want to multiply that, and we know that to do that we call PCR. All right, and if you do that, you're gonna get very clean sequence copies of the sequence, original sequence that you make up, and then you can use that to make the vaccine or the poison that we know of, or gene therapy, whatever it is. All right. Now, the problem is to do that in such way costs a lot. And it's impossible to do so economically, because in each dose they have to make 1 billion copies of this stretch of RNA, billion for each dose. Imagine how much it's gonna cost to make one dose. So for them, they're thinking, okay, why don't we use different way? Instead of doing the thing that I just mentioned, they make the first draft and they make into a circular genetic material that called plasmid.
Plasmids.
Yeah, they make the same coding, but instead of using RNA, they use DNA, and they make into the plasmid DNA. And they put that plasmid DNA into the bacteria.
Oh.
Okay, and the bacteria that they use is E. coli. All right, and then if you understand how E. coli works, when the E. coli or this bacteria divide itself, they're gonna double everything within them, including this plasmid DNA. Everything. So from 1 to 2 and 2 to 4 and 4 to 8.
So
Okay.
E. coli is a good copy machine.
Yes, and it's cheap because
And it's in salad bars.
it's yeah, it's double itself every 20 minutes.
Wow.
Every 20 minutes. So from one cell, within an hour, you have 8 cells. And do you know how much you got within 24 hours?
Oh, it would be billions.
Trillions.
Trillions.
It's 2 to the power of 72.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
It's exponential function.
It's exponential function, you're right?
Doubling every 20 minutes. It's going to...
Yes. And you just give, like, just E. coli. You don't need to pay anything to E. coli.
Yeah.
Very cheap labor. All right?
Yeah.
And that's what they did. So once they have the E. coli with the plasmid, then what they need to do, I said they need to do, it doesn't mean that what they did, okay? They're supposed to do is to get the plasmid, get rid of other stuff, just the plasmid in the E. coli, all right? And then with that plasmid, you have to remember, this plasmid is the plasmid DNA, not plasmid RNA. But they want to make RNA. But the plasmid DNA, it actually, it's like a what is called for that? Like a mole that you can, from the plasmid DNA, you can make RNA from DNA. All right. So they take the DNA, the plasmid DNA, they make RNA from that DNA, and then you got the final RNA that you want. Then you get rid of the plasmid DNA, and you only take the RNA to make into the vaccine. That's what's supposed to do. You know what happened? They did a bad job cleaning up the plasmid DNA. So instead of having the plasmid DNA that they put in, they have other plasmid DNA with what they make too, And when I say those other plasmid DNA, it's not just only RNA or DNA. They got the plasmid DNA that is the genes that make the bacterial have antibiotic resistant. So in other words, it's a antibiotic resistant genes that go along. Worse than that, they got the genes that we call oncogenes, which in other words, the genes that cause cancer, mixing with those plasmid too. All right. Then from that plasmid, you need to make the RNA, and you got the RNA, right? And then you clear up the DNA. They did a bad works doing that too. So instead of having only the RNA, they have the DNA in the vial too. And that DNA is already in the nanolipids. Now, people ask, why do you worry about those DNA? The answer is simple. Because in order the RNA to get into our DNA, it's possible, but it's very unlikely because it's an RNA. But it's not the case if it's the DNA. And that is the scary part because it has the DNA inside of the nanolipids that we inject into people. Then they inject, not we inject. Then it means that those plasmid DNA could easily integrate into the human genome.
That's permanent. Yeah.
See?
Permanent.
And
The human genome means like across everybody. It'll spread to the new babies and then.
Really?
so it's in the person DNA.
So from this point, this person's replication of the cell or everything includes this?
See?
Oh,
And if you read,
Replicon.
you know that with every medicine product, after they get approved from the FDA, it have to have the fact sheet come along with the product, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
The fact sheet that tell everything.
Sometimes it's just a blank page.
Yeah. But not sometimes for this particular vaccine, a lot of blank page. But for regular stuff, regular medicine, you have to have this fact sheet. And this fact sheet, you have to understand that it's written by the pharmaceutical company. It's
Right.
not anyone. It's just they say it's in there. And only they write this up. But it has to be approved by the FDA. So it means that the pharmaceutical company write it up and then the FDA said, this is correct. Yes.
They
you can-
own the FDA.
Yeah. Yep. See, in the fact sheet of mRNA vaccine, they say it clearly that they didn't test if their product interfere with human DNA or not. They did not test. All right. So if they didn't do any test, run any test. Oh, and do you know what they say next? Which is very funny. They said they didn't do any test to see if it interfere with the human DNA or not. And they say, by the way, but they think it's unlikely.
Unlikely that it'll destroy all of human life on Earth.
See, they write. They clearly they said they not say that they prove. They think it's unlikely, and people believe that.
Yeah, this is like Bill Gates unlikely.
And it's on the paper. You can read it in Japanese version too, because it's everywhere in the world. It's the same document. It's the same information on this fact sheet. One of the things that I think it's very, when I read it, it's like, how could you allow them to say that? Because one of the things that we always ask as a doctors or as people who take any drugs, okay, any drugs in the world that you take, one of the things that we're talking about in that fact sheet is what we call pharmacokinetics. All right, this is very fancy words for lay person, but when I explain what it is, you understand. Pharmacokinetics is only the information that say when you take any medication, where does it go in your body, how long it lasts in your body. That's the simple information that we need to know, because that is the one that tell the doctors to tell the patient how many tablets you take, how frequent, because if that tablet stay in your body for 1 day, we can say, okay, you take once a day. Or if the tablets stay in your body for 8 hours, you take, okay, you take 3 times a day. So this is very simple information that you're supposed to have in any kind of medicine, right? Guess what it said in the mRNA injections? Can you guess?
If it's going into your genes, it's permanent.
No.
Right.
In this particular topics regarding pharmacodynamics, it's irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
What does it mean?
Irrelevant means it doesn't matter, which is bullshit.
Really?
Yeah.
Irrelevant?
You don't need to be a doctor to know that's bullshit.
How come
Yeah.
to know where it's go, how long it stay in your body, it's irrelevant? How come?
The half-life is irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
And it says right there, irrelevant, and then like, and you believe it's like really bullshit.
Yeah.
See, one of the article that I wrote, it's telling parents. I said something before you give any, vaccine to your child. Please read this fact sheet first. And I gave that to my, colleagues, medical doctors, and they said like, no, you don't need to do that. You just trust the expert. It's like,
Trust the expert. We're done with that.
but can you believe that?
Yeah.
Because I'm not telling, believe me, you know what I mean? I'm not telling that you have to listen to me.
Yeah.
I tell, please read the thing that it said by the pharmaceutical company and approved by the FDA.
Wow.
I literally split doctors into 2 categories now. Did they push the jab or not? If they pushed it, they're irrelevant.
Now,
If they said don't take it, I want to come talk with you and listen.
now, as a psychiatrist, okay, then I start to realize that, they being brainwashed.
Brainwash.
Brainwashed. Yeah, we study that quite a lot.
Yeah, the mass psychosis, right?
Yeah.
Mass formation.
Yeah, we went to meet the doctor in Belgium,
Yes.
Yes, they
Dr. Matthias Desper.
Yeah.
We went to his home. Very
And that's actually what really happened.
Yep.
Because no matter how smart you are, or no matter how you think how smart you are,
It's not even relevant.
yes,
That's not relevant, how smart you are. Let me ask you something, doctor. You're a psychiatrist or psychologist?
psychiatrist.
We're seeing all these marijuana stores here now, and we're thinking brainwashing, of course. What do you think about these marijuana stores?
What does it mean brainwash? What do you mean?
When you take drugs, you're open to suggestion that can be permanent, right? Like,
See, this is something that I happen to be a psychiatrist who treat addicts all my life.
addicts.
Yeah, I treat
drug
addicts.
right?
Drug addicts. I'm the expert, all right? Actually, I'm in the committees. I'm the expert members of the committee, all right? So it's not just the member of the committees. Actually, I used to be the expert for UN too.
Hey.
Anyway, for me, I think it's a good thing.
The marijuana.
Yes.
Why?
See, marijuana has been with human for a long time, like alcohol, and it has its goods and bads, of course. Okay, but the two group of people who don't want that to happen. The first group is the big pharma, because cannabis can be used as a medicines. Okay, and it can be used to treat a lot of diseases, including cancers. All right. And the secondly, which is another group of people who sell drugs too, but they sell illegal drugs. Okay.
Right.
And when you make it available for everyone, then it cracks the black market that they sell other hard drugs. And they don't like it. And those are the people who came out in the public, try to say, oh, I want to protect children. But they themselves were the one who sell drugs. So they don't like make it free.
Right.
The black markets become the black markets because it's illegal.
Right.
And make the cost expensive and make the profit. So it's not something that you really understand that's really going on. It's something that's more sinister than what you think, really believe.
Right. Now, there's many dimensions to it.
Yeah. Again,
I recognize that.
yeah,
Big Pharma will just take over that business.
yes.
You know what I mean? Because they're business people. They're not in the business of making drugs. They're in the business of making money.
Hey, you're right. Every business is, not about the charity. Business is business. It's not charity. You know what I mean? It's something that you're not really.
Right.
See, that's a very, very dangerous part, because I can talk about vaccine, no one's gonna bother, they're gonna bother a little bit about vaccine, but if I talk about something else,
You mean like marijuana? Or
like the drugs,
you mean like marijuana, you mean? Or
not just marijuana, just, any other kind of drugs. The reason behind the scene that they don't like marijuana, something like that, then that's gonna be a big problem for me.
who's behind the marijuana business in Thailand?
You don't know?
No.
Who's behind no. Let me rephrase that. Who behind the drugs business in the world?
U.S. government, among many cartels.
It's not the U.S. government. It's particular branch of U.S. government.
CIA.
Yes.
So CIA?
Yes, you never know that.
Wow, we've been involved in that a long time.
And
Semi-openly.
actually, the CIA also get involved with this particular stuff too. You know that, right? The COVID itself, it linked to the CIA too. All right. Okay, so it's not just the drugs. Okay. Now, if you understand that, then you understand that CIA is everywhere. Period.
Yeah, they're like the Walmart of trouble.
Including in Japan.
Oh.
And actually, Japan has a lot of that too. And you understand, if you understand the topic, okay, if it's something that you want to talk about, then another story, we have to shut it down.
Oh, okay. So, Doctor, I heard there is a huge topic about the royal family in Thailand. Could you tell me?
Yes, you mean the princess, right? This is the princess, the eldest daughters of King Rama X. She's very athletic, very fit. Okay, and she do all kinds of sports, right? And then because of her traveling, she needs to travel abroad, and of course they asked her to get the jab, and this is the mRNA jab. And after roughly about 20 days after the jabs, and she's got, she lost her conscious, all right, and we believe that is that because of the myocarditis during that she walked the dog in the park and fell down and lost conscious. And right now she's in the comatose state, like a sleeping princess. Fortunately, no need to have like any machines to maintain her life. She can, live on her own, but in a unconscious state.
And how long has it been since right now?
Oh, it's been since almost a year now.
Almost a year.
I guess, yeah. I think it's October, something like that, last year.
Last year, October. Does all the people in Thailand know?
Yeah, a lot of people in Thailand are aware of that. That we actually have these problems, and she actually succumbed to the. Officially, they say that she has myocarditis from the mycoplasma bacteria, but it is very unlikely because mycoplasma is already, affect the immune, suppress. People who have low immunity. She's not, and even though she got that mycoplasma pneumonia or myocarditis, she has to have a lot of symptoms, fevers, severe illness before she even have the myocarditis, and she didn't have that.
Suddenly.
Yeah, so it's very unlikely. But unlike what we call subclinical myocarditis, which is very common in athletes, young guys on the field run and then fall down because of the myocarditis. It's called subclinical myocarditis. That's only caused by mRNA injections.
And do you know which one she got?
I guess the Pfizer one.
Pfizer.
Yeah.
How many times?
I don't know, but I know that 20 days after the shot, and she got that.
Thank you very much.
All right.